So the name of this book is The Quotable Quote Book by Merritt Malloy and Shauna Sorensen. So me and my friend Casey are going to be talking about this. We're basically going to go through it one at a time. We're going to read one of the quotes, who it's by, and kind of dissect it. I'm really excited about it. I want to dive right into this book, but I also don't want to ruin it. He lives quite a ways away from me, so it's a little bit difficult to get together on that, especially with schedules and everything lining up. But the other book I got at the same place is actually not new to most of us. I saw this back in 2007 when I was deployed to Iraq, is The Zombie Survival Guide. My friend Scott was reading this while we were deployed, and I actually never picked it up. So because it was, 42 cents for a book, who's going to turn that down? The Zombie Survival Guide is by Max Brooks. I'm excited to read it. I actually have a YouTube channel that I want to work on kind of in line with that. So I may or may not read it on there. I'm not really one to read books per se, like live or even recorded. That, to me, that's just weird. But I'm really excited about those two books. But the one that I want to do, so Latoya and I are, we're doing the conspiracy theories and walking through those. And basically the way it goes is we pick a conspiracy theory, we talk about it, and then somebody brings a curveball in, usually her. That's pretty exciting for me because I like humor. Conspiracy theories are fun to talk about, but I don't want to research so much into it and then pick a side per se. I just want to sit there and talk about it and have a little fun with it. So if you haven't heard that one, the first conspiracy theory we talked about was Area 51, and I'm not going to ruin every single one for you, but during that episode we determined that Area 51 is just a guy who lives there and he doesn't want anybody bothering him. So the conspiracy theory surrounding Area 51 is it's all made up by him in an attempt to keep people away, but he sucks at it. So everybody keeps coming around to visit looking for spaceships. I was pretty entertained by it. It was pretty fun for me. But the book I really want to talk about tonight, and this is one I'm kind of going to take off with on my own, is called The Book of Questions. And this is by Gregory Stock, PH.D. I throw that in there. It's after his name. I figure he earned that title. It's a pretty high degree. So it was copyrighted in 1985. A year before I was born, and I'll just the plan was to pick one out of here. I might do more than one, we'll find out, but in the very beginning, right inside the cover, it says, "To Mom and Dad for giving me the security to question and the independence to seek my own answers." So that's pretty insightful to me. There's acknowledgments and introduction. Those are slightly wordy, so I may read them either on my own time or a different day. I really want to jump into the questions for now, though. So I figure there's probably no better starting point than number one, which is actually on page 11. So the first question in the Book of Questions, once again by Gregory Stock, is: for a person you love deeply, would you be willing to move to a distant country knowing there would be little chance of seeing your friends or family again? I feel like the answer for most of us in that question might be yes, especially anyone who was in the military. So I feel like I probably have already done that before. So I guess the question for me is, would I do it again? And I still say yes. I'd love to get some input on that, or some feedback, any thoughts that you guys may have. I'll read it one more time just for the good of the group. For a person you love deeply, would you be willing to move to a distant country knowing there would be little chance of seeing your friends or family again? And given that most of us, especially the military folks, have spent quite a bit of time in other countries without our friends and family, I think we could probably handle that. In fact, a guy I know, Greg, he owns a jewelry company, and I believe he lives in Thailand with his wife and kid or kids. I'm not sure. I know he has at least a son that I saw, but so I guess he has kind of already done that. I'm sure most of his family is here in the United States, so he has moved his family to Thailand, which is the best situation for him. So, Greg, I feel like the answer to that question for you is already yes. I don't want to put words in your mouth, though, so I'd definitely be willing to hear what you have to say about it. Just because I have a little bit of extra time here, I'm going to move on to number 2. I don't want to speed through this book because this has a lot of quality stuff in it. But number 2 is on page 12. Number 2 is, do you believe in ghosts or evil spirits? Would you be willing to spend a night alone in a remote house that is supposedly haunted? The answer to both of those questions for me is yes, though I would definitely love some input. So when I was stationed at Fort Polk in Louisiana, me and my buddy Matt actually used to go ghost hunting. Whether it was serious or not is pretty irrelevant, because if you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it. We went looking for ghosts or any sign of them, and we found it. That was, let's see, 2006. So that was quite a while ago, and phones and everything weren't as developed, and I was not as responsible as I would like to believe I am today. So the video, pictures, and sound evidence of our little adventures probably don't exist anymore. If they do, I would have to get with him to see if he has any. But it was pretty exciting, and anyone who knows anything about Louisiana knows that they have probably the creepiest places on the planet. Also, there was a movie that was made back in 2006. I can't remember what it was called. I want to say it was The Game or End the Game, and it was about a video game that you play, but once you play it, you're in it, and you have to win, because if you die in the game, then you die in real life. And the house that was used to film that movie was actually, I want to say, in Baton Rouge or somewhere in Louisiana, and we were going to go visit it. So the answer to the second part of number 2, once again, is yes. And just for the good of the group, I'll read it one more time. Do you believe in ghosts or evil spirits? Would you be willing to spend a night alone in a remote house that is supposedly haunted? And just to be able to tell of that experience, I think I would definitely do that. Might be a little bit of an adrenaline rush, but I'm totally down for something like that. So that's pretty much as far as I want to go in the book of questions, at least for tonight. I'll definitely read a few more, but if you guys go back and rewatch this, listen to the first 2 questions in the book of questions, once again by Gregory Stock, PhD, and let me know what you think.